afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us in this chapel service today. If you are able to, please stand and join me in the call to worship. I will be reading the lines that are labeled 1, and we'll read the bold lines together. You have heard that it was said, "You shall love your neighbor and hate your enemies." But I say to you, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you. Love does not harm to a neighbor. Therefore, love is the fulfillment of all the law. Love is patient. Love is kind. Love is not envious or boastful or arrogant or rude. Love does not insist on its own way. It is not irritable or resentful. It does not rejoice in wrongdoing, but rejoices in the truth. Love bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. Love never ends. Let all that you do be done in love. Thank you. You may be seated.
Oh God, for those who have experienced death, we pray that you would be their great comforter. For those who are facing storms, whether they be physical storms or emotional or mental storms, we pray that you would be with them and give them comfort and hope. And God, for the praises that we have in our midst today, thank you for letting us know that you hear our prayers and that you walk with us, both in the good times and the not so good times of life. Thank you for being that constant presence of peace and of hope. Be with us in this service and help us to take just a moment to be still and to listen to your voice. For it is in your name we pray. Amen. Okay, we are going to sing "They'll Know We Are Christians by Our Love." The words are in your bulletin. So, would you please stand? Javier will play it through for us once.
We are one in the Spirit, we are one in the I'm excited to be here today to share with you all some of the things that I've been thinking about over the last few months. I don't know about you all, but for me, it's actually been a rough few months. In June, one of my staff members passed away unexpectedly of a heart attack. In July, my grandmother had a massive heart attack and was life-flighted to the ICU at UK. Both of these things, quite honestly, rocked my world. And just when things were starting to get back to somewhat normal and school was about to start, I found out one of my former students in Celts passed away. Y'all, it's been a rough few months. So when Loretta asked if I would be interested in speaking at a chapel, I said, sure, I'd love to do that. And my hope is that I could share some of the things with each of you that have really helped me get through these last few months, and really that guide my life. So I'm a person of great faith, and I have found that the older I get, the more closely I lean on my faith for help in both the bad times, but even in the good times. And so today I want to share 5 specific things that I've learned from the Bible, and I'll share a few stories along the way. So the first one is be still. The second one is to give thanks. The third is to love each other. And the fourth is love is an action. And finally, number 5 is do everything in love. So I said the first one is be still. Psalm 46:10 says, "Be still and know that I am God." Everyone needs quiet time, and boy, it's hard to come by these days, isn't it? We have a lot of distractions and noise coming to us in every direction possible. And when the days and the nights are so busy and I get lost in my thoughts, I often stop and remind myself of this verse. Depending on the day, sometimes I say this verse over and over again, almost like a mantra. Be still, be still, be still. And you know, it works. It really helps me calm down, and it quiets all those thoughts that are swirling in my head. So now for the story. A couple of years ago, I took a group of students to Los Angeles to a conference. While we were there, I took them to see a former student of mine that's now in graduate school at UCLA. Jonathan was so excited to show us around campus until we got stuck in an elevator. All 13 of us for over an hour. Not fun. As you might imagine, it was horrible. It was hot, we were cramped, it was awful. So for the first 45 minutes or so, everyone was okay, but as the time started to pass and we were still stuck and we didn't know when we were going to be rescued, we all really started getting restless. And honestly, I thought some of us, including myself, might have full-blown panic attack right there in this really cramped elevator. But then this verse came to my mind. And I led all the students in some deep breathing exercises, and we all said this verse over and over again. And while we still had to wait about 20 more minutes for the Los Angeles Fire Department to rescue us, all of us were much calmer when that happened, and no one had a panic attack. So I encourage you to practice this the next time you are stressed out, or if you ever get stuck in an elevator. Be still, be still, be still, and know that I am God. Give thanks. 1 Thessalonians 5:16-18 says, "Rejoice always, pray continually, give thanks in all circumstances, for this is God's will for you in Christ Jesus." So you might not know this about me, but I teach Sunday school to little kids, 4 and 5-year-olds mostly. And a couple of years ago, I was trying to come up with a Thanksgiving lesson for them, and this verse is what came to my mind. The next morning, before I went to teach this lesson, I learned that my cousin, who was more like a sister to me, had died. Well, I thought this verse had come to me for my Sunday school lesson. I knew as soon as I learned that Amanda had passed away, it came to me. It came to me because of her. She had been sick for years and years. And while her passing was a surprise, we were all able to rejoice in that she was no longer in pain and no longer suffering. So since Amanda's death, I often think about this verse. I know I did this summer when Richie passed away, and I did just a few weeks ago when Josh passed away. Because what I've learned is this: even in the worst of times, we still have a lot to be thankful for. Richie and Josh and my cousin Amanda were all great people who did a lot of great things. And I like to think that each of them will live on in the memories of all of us and all of those that they touched. I practiced this so I wouldn't cry, but I figured I would. Plus my mom's here, so. Anyway, even in the worst of times, we can rejoice and be thankful in all circumstances, because that truly is God's will. The next point is love each other. Romans 12:9-12 says, love must be sincere. Hate what is evil, cling to what is good. Be devoted to one another in brotherly love. Honor one another above yourselves. Never be lacking in zeal, but keep your spiritual fervor, serving the Lord. Be joyful in hope, patient in affliction, faithful in prayer. Share with God's people who are in need, and practice hospitality. Y'all, I see these verses as a guide. It's a guide for how I try to act in my life day to day, and it's a guide for how I try to treat others. If we are sincere, we are genuine. We are who we are all the time. We don't wear masks. We don't act differently depending on our company or who's in the room. If we honor others above ourselves, if we are joyful, hopeful, patient in the hard times, and faithful in our prayers, if we are hospitable or welcoming to others, our priorities change. Our attitudes are different. We lead with love. We love each other. In the best of times and in the worst of times, if we love each other, the world is a better place. Think about how different our world and even our daily lives could be if we loved each other. To some, this might sound like foolishness, because the message of the cross is seen as foolish. But to me, and hopefully for you, it means a new way of life. But what is love? I tend to go with what Jesus says and what the Bible tells me. And the Bible says that love is an action. 1 John 3:18 says, "Dear children, let us not love with words or tongue, but with actions and in truth." Back in the day, DC Talk. Anybody here remember DC Talk? Yeah, maybe? Like, wave at me so I know I'm not the only one. All right, yay! So DC Talk, a 90s Christian rock band, had this song called Love is a Verb. Love is spelled L-U-V, not L-O-V. Love is a verb, which was written by someone else y'all might have heard of, Toby McKeon or Toby Mac. Anybody heard of Toby? It's like, all right, something, all right. So it's a great song with a lot of great 90s Christian rap music. So there really is such a thing as Christian rap music. It's pretty cheesy looking back, especially that music video. But for me to remember the message so many years later, it certainly had an impact on me. So I would encourage you all to look up this video on YouTube, look past like the cheesy 90s hair and 90s clothes. But look at the message, listen to the message. In all seriousness, the message of this song, and really that verse comes down to this. I'm not going to rap, by the way. It's just not going to happen. But you can imagine, right? Love is a serious word. It's time we all learned. It doesn't matter what we say. It doesn't matter what we've heard. The word love. Love is a verb. And that really leads me to the last point, which is this. 1 Corinthians 16:14 says, do everything in love. It's said that everyone should have a Bible verse or a quote or something like that that they use as their life guide. For me, this verse is it. In my life, it all comes down to this. If I do everything, and I mean everything, in love, and with love in my heart, I know I am trying my best to make this world a better place. One person, one action, one day at a time. So, those are certainly my intentions, but they are not always my actions. My kids are over here, you can ask them, they'll tell you. I wish I could say that I'm patient all the time, joyful all the time, and that I show love to everyone all the time. But Caroline and Jackson will probably tell you that's not the truth. Jackson's shaking his head no. Some days it's just not possible. Some days are harder than others. But I have a trick, and so I want to share my trick with you in the hopes that maybe it'll help you too. My trick is actually really easy. I have most all of the verses that I've shared with you today typed up and hanging in my office. They are in a place that no one else can see them except for me, and they are my constant reminders. I see them when I'm working on my computer, when I'm talking to my staff, and when I'm with my students. I find that having these constant reminders is a great way to help me bring the focus back to love, back to God, and back to my relationship with Jesus. I would encourage each of you to find that thing that gives you back your peace and keep it close. In doing so, you also can have that reminder when things get difficult. So friends, I leave you with what's carried me over these last few months and with what will carry me for the rest of my life. Be still. Give thanks. Love each other. Love is a verb. And do everything with love. Thank you.
Thank you. As you leave this place, go in joy, go in peace, to live, to love, and to serve both God and the world. Amen. Join us for lunch.